So let's talk about food, right? Food security. There's a lot of talk. A lot of people are saying that, prices are going up. Supply chain is having problems. Shelves are bare. Some people are even saying that there is a new trend where when you go shopping at the grocery store, somebody will follow you home and attack you and take what you've purchased at the grocery store. There are also people who say that there's a possibility that the government's going to change the laws and say that you can't, purchase this type of product anymore or that type of product anymore, or you can only purchase this amount or that amount at any given time per family, not per individual, but per family. So if you have a situation to where you go to the grocery store, you show your ID or scan your ID, however they want to do it. Your ID shows who you are, how many times you've been to the grocery store, what you have already purchased, and what you're allowed to purchase going forward. And it also shows who your family members are. If you end up in a situation like that to where you go to the store, you're only allowed to buy certain things, and then when you come out of the store, there are people watching you and following you so that they can take what you have. Really, really, really creates a weird, hostile situation. A situation that nobody really wants to be part of, except for the people creating the hostile situation. It's something that people don't want to be forced into. They don't want to be forced into living a life of having to always look over your shoulder and always watching after. Excuse me, had a little drip going on. But you don't want to get in a situation to where you're always looking over your shoulder because you think that somebody's going to, put a gun in your face and take everything you have. Your groceries, your wallet, your purse, your car. Maybe even take your child. It's a weird, weird world we're in. You never know what you're going to run across. Food security. The government has programs to enable people to eat and to be healthy, right? As the world changes and the environment changes enough to where it's a little tough to be able to have in abundance what you have always had, right? Then you end up in a situation to where, right, it's tough on you and it's tough on your family. And it's tough on other families as well. You have people that will do things out of necessity. They will do things that in normal life they wouldn't think of doing. You take, for example, you got a man and a woman. They got 7 kids. They no longer have work. But the government looks at their history of their income that they've made over the years and they say, oh, you're in a financial category to where you're not allowed, government assistance or this or that. Yet they're on the verge of losing their home. They're on the verge of losing, their automobiles. They're on the verge of losing everything they have. They can't get groceries because they don't have an income anymore. So the man, wanting to take care of his family, his children, and his wife, right? He says, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'll be back in a little while. So he goes to the grocery store and he sits in the parking lot. He knows he can't go in and buy groceries. They're too expensive. The supply chain is broken down, right? A lot of the people that are in there are purchasing only what they're allowed to purchase. So he waits. And he's like, I don't want to go home empty-handed, right? So he waits until he sees somebody coming out to their car, a full shopping cart, groceries, right? He sees them, they put the stuff in their car, they pull out in the car, heading down the road. He pulls out and follows them. And he's like, well, if they're shopping right now, then they can afford to go back and get more, right? In his mind, he thinks it's okay. Or not okay, depending on how he really thinks and what's in his heart, what his ethics are, right? He follows that person home. As they're getting the groceries out of their car, he pulls out his gun and says, give me all your groceries, give me your keys, give me your purse or your wallet, and oh yeah, while we're here, give me your watch, your jewelry, anything else of value, right? Not because he's really an evil person, but because he's put in a bad spot. He needs to support his family. He needs to take care of his family. Most people would not go to this extreme. But as the world changes and as the world becomes tougher on people, you're going to see more and more of that. You're going to see people actually go and do things that they normally would not do. Just like in the movies, right? You see these survival movies or these epidemic movies or, other zombie movies, whatever. And you see people do things that they never, ever thought that they would ever do. So for food security purposes, what are you going to do? You're going to go shopping, right? In numbers, meaning you don't just let the wife go shopping. Husband needs to go with wife, and husband and wife both should be armed to protect themselves, to protect their families. I know it sounds bad, but it will get to the point to where you won't be able to go to the grocery store and come home safely without somebody harassing you or bothering you or following you or stealing from you. But there is safety in numbers. So if you and your spouse or you and your best friend or your girlfriend, whatever, if you go in numbers and you stick together in numbers, meaning multiples, right? You all go shopping together at the same time, right? You show up at the same time. You do it together. I guess it's a herd mentality, sort of. The herd is safer when it's together, but when you have a straggler out there a weak straggler, right? Then the tigers are going to, or the hyenas are going to come in and swoop in, and they're going to get that weak tiger, right? Or not tiger, but whatever the herd is. Whether it's a person or an antelope or, you know, any kind of animal or anything, right? Safety in numbers. So remember to do the things that you can do to be safe. Protect yourself the best you can. I was going to do a 2-minute video. It turned into a 11-minute video. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later.